we're back with another episode of the Casey Hall podcast. We missed last week, but we're back this week, and I'm excited that you are here joining us. If you are watching on YouTube, do me a favor if you haven't already and subscribe to the channel. It helps me unlock some cool features. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. That's my goal for the next few months. So help us get there. I think we're in the 40s, I think. And if you're listening to the audio version, like on Spotify or Apple, do me a favor and just rate it. And I think you subscribe to the channels there too. That would really help me a lot. And we're just trying to get this thing going. This is episode, I want to say 9. I think that's right. We'll find out. But as always, the Casey Hall podcast is brought to you by, boom, TR Group Alex City. Let's get it in the focus shots right there. TR Group Alex City. I'll put it on for the shot. There it is, TR Group Alex City. This is a great business. A friend of mine, close friend of mine, is the general manager there, and I promise you, he will take care of you. They're always trying to help people. And so if you're in the need for a new car, you should check them out at trgroupalexcity.com. They won't try to take advantage of you. They won't try to just get more money out of you, but they're there to help you. TR Group. That's where Katie and I, in the next few months, hope by the end of the year, are going to be upgrading her to a bigger mom car. Let me get this back in the shot. And you know we're going to TR Group. They're also buying a lot of cars right now. So if you've got a car, you're trying to sell it, take it by there. Or if that's too far for you just to go up there and see, message them on Facebook, send them some pictures, or give them a call. I'm sure they'd take some pictures from like your phone. It doesn't matter. And let them know, because they're buying cars. They can help you out. You check them out at TR Group Alex City. Best place to buy a car. Guarantee it. So, first thing I want to do real quick is I want to jump into some free promo for something. Now, the people that I'm about to talk about will never hear this, and that's okay. What they've put out has been so impactful in the last, I think it came out 4 days ago, and all on social media you see is people talking about it. But Elevation Worship and Maverick City have put out like a joint album called Old Church Basement. And man, every song on there, right, is so good. Like I can't stop listening to it. Every song on that, from the very beginning, to Wait on You is one of mine and Katie's favorite, just because of the meaning it has for us. To even Old Church Basement, like the song, I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of weird. And I listened to it and I was like, oh, this is actually really good. And it's more like storytelling songs, some of them are. So I really love the new album. So make sure you check it out if you haven't. That's some great music. If you're looking for something new to listen to, or if you're looking for worship music in general to listen to, and you're like, I want to jump in and change up what I listen to, change the diversity. These are two completely different groups, I would say, of how they present music. One's more storytelling, and one's more like Sunday morning you'd hear up on the screen and stuff. But together they've made an album that's kind of a mixture of storytelling and a mixture of that kind of stuff, and it is so good. And you can check it out, Old Church Basement by them too. Listen, I've seen people, my wife about to say, you can't put this in there. I've seen people discrediting Elevation Church and some other people because of their, because I guess mainly their popularity, but a lot of the people that discredit it are talking about how, for instance, Pastor Stephen Furtick, and they throw other pastors out. I'm just saying him just because it's the top of my head. They talk about how he doesn't really. They say that all he does is preach, this false prophecy, or that all he does is type of encouragement, or just setting you up for. Some people say failure, but he's always talking about blessings and stuff. And this done got to the point. Listen, I'm not defending every famous pastor. I know that some, are kind of on that side. I get it, but listen, my comments are going to be pretty. I'm trying to stick to my notes so I don't get off and my wife kill me. I'm not the person to get on social media and argue. Like, I don't like doing all that. But I've seen some people recently get on there, and like somebody would share something that it meant something to them enough to share it. Like, it was an encouraging thing to them, so they shared it. and I've seen someone get on there and just talk about, hey, this isn't right. None of that stuff's true, yada yada. I'm thinking, what good is it doing you or anyone else or the body of Christ or any other Christians? What good is it doing any of that for you to get on here and tell somebody that what they're sharing from someone isn't true? Like, they're not getting on there sharing something about killing people. They're not getting on there sharing something vulgar or sharing something like that I wouldn't want my kids to see. They're literally sharing a post that has something encouraging about it, and something with, biblical, or their argument would be that it's not biblical, but it's something encouraging about it. So why would anyone feel the need to get on there and tell them that what they're doing, what they're sharing isn't right? Like, what do you want them to share? Do you want them to share something completely has nothing to do with Jesus? Like, just imagine the friends that they have on Facebook that, sorry, I'm getting a little ranted. Imagine the friends they have on Facebook that know nothing about Jesus, and they share that. What if that's something that kind of piques their interest? Like, and you're going here going to comment on it. First off, think about it this way. Somebody shares something. A friend of theirs on Facebook who doesn't go to church, knows nothing about Jesus, sees it. Okay, and then they start scrolling down and they see a comment on it. They see a comment from another, I'm going to use the term Christian loosely because everybody claims to be a Christian. I'm not going to say follower of Christ. Another Christian churchgoer gets on there and starts telling them how this isn't right. How do you think it's going to make the person who's not a follower of Christ, who's just scrolling and they see that and they're like, oh yeah, something about Jesus, oh, that's pretty interesting, and they go down and they see someone else who says that they're a Christian comment about how it's not right? For me, it would be confusing in this like kind of division. Like, wait a minute, I thought, why are y'all arguing over? Like, why is there division over this post? Why would I want to be a part of something like that? Like, if you have a problem with something that I post, and this isn't my post, nobody's had a problem with me because this isn't for me. But if you had a problem with something I posted about a blessing or something like that, don't comment on my post, because here's the thing. I'm in control of my post on my social media. Your comment will get deleted, and I haven't went back and checked, but I hope it did get deleted, because the last thing I'm going to do is post something that's encouraging and it's about Jesus, and then have another churchgoer. I'm really trying to, maybe a Christian, I don't know anybody's spiritual life. Another Christian come up and argue with me about it. And people see that on social media, like, wait a minute, that's weird that y'all are supposed to be on the same team and you're going to sit here and say what he's saying is not right. Like, that just don't make any sense. So who cares? If where's the example I had on here? It was there's something like, oh, your blessing's right around the corner, and you share it, and then somebody wants to argue and say, how do you know somebody's blessing? That's not biblical. That's not. Who cares? How do you know that somebody's blessing is not right? But just because I shared it, maybe my blessings are not right around the corner, but maybe I shared it and somebody reading that, guess what? Their blessing is right around the corner. Like, I don't really care if you think that it's not. This is Katie's gonna kill me. It doesn't matter. Like, somebody's blessings around the corner. It really is, honestly. And the fact that somebody's just sharing that, guess what? It's called encouragement. It's called helping people. It's called giving people, maybe they're in a tough time in life where nothing seems to be going right and nothing seems to be going good for them, and they're kind of sad deep, and maybe they're on the last straw and they're thinking about these negative thoughts. And maybe they need to see something like that to be reminded that, oh man, I do have a blessing. Like, Jesus does still care about me. And the last thing they need to see is another person commenting on it that says they love Jesus arguing with me about how it's not biblical. Like, get out of that. We've got to, the church has to stop this whole argument. First thing, social media is a killer for the church. It can be a tool, but it is a killer. You see so many people on there that claim that they're Christians. They'll put everything about Jesus on their profile, but they want to argue all the time with people. Like, that's not a good representation. If you need to hear it, that is not a good representation. That's not a good one. Like, don't be doing that. Stick to yourself. And if you're posting people are doing that, here's what I do. I delete the comment, because I don't want people coming on my post and seeing all that junk. It's meant to be social, not argue media. That's kind of lame, but whatever. Katie's going to kill me. Listen, I got sidetracked. I was talking about the elevation. I just saw that this week and it bothered me. And even as last night I was going over these notes. Listen, I was going over these notes last night, looking at them because I knew I was going to come up here and record them this morning. And I get on Facebook, and the church had shared, the church I got to, we shared some pictures from Sunday, talking about how great of a Sunday it was. And if you've seen pictures of our church, oh, man. So, Pastor Mark will wear a hat on Sundays. A lot of people wear hats on Sunday mornings. And it's funny because his whole hat, it's like Hatgate. It's been a debacle. This is the second time I've seen it brought up. Somebody commented on the post and said something like, their only response, like the post was basically like, great things are happening here on Sundays. We'd love for you to be a part. You're invited. Like, hey, that's it. Amazing things are happening here at the Summit Church Valley. Free plug. Great things are happening. We'd love for you to join us. We really would. And then somebody from the church shares it, and all you see is a random comment from somebody saying, wow, the pastor wears a hat? Other people wear hats? That's very disrespectful. I wouldn't think people should wear hats in the church, right? And then so, of course, people go back commenting on it. First off, that comment would have got deleted on my page. Like, if you want to look at my post and talk about how great things are happening in church and all you want to do is talk about a hat, your comment's getting deleted. Now, you can comment and say, nice hat, or you can comment and say, wow, God's really moving. But if you're just going to be like that, deleted. And so that's the comment that was made. And like, even as I was reviewing these notes, and then I get on and see them, I'm like, oh my gosh, like even here I'm talking about how, I'm not going to argue on faith. It's like tempting because I could have easily just went off on this dude and be like, are you kidding me? Like, the post has nothing to do with that. And the first thing you go to, like, it's nothing but pictures of people worshiping, like in the presence of God. And the first thing you see is somebody wearing a hat. And the reason you're saying it's not right to wear a hat is because you're saying it's out of reverence. And you're saying it's out of respect. And he was talking about like a building, like going into it. Like, personally, this is me, I don't think that when Jesus died on the cross, right, that's what he came for. That's what we're here for, is to go and make disciples. And he died on the cross, giving us a way to be with him in eternity. I don't think he cared what we dressed like or looked like while we did it, or while we do it. Like, our one goal is to make disciples, get as many people into heaven with us. Like, tell people about Jesus. Tell people how much he loves them. Tell people how he is there for them. Tell people how they're not alone because Jesus is with them. And I don't think he cares if we're wearing a hat while we're doing it, if we're just being honest. There's so much going on in this world. There's so many people that need to hear the message of Jesus. And people want to sit here and comment on a hat being worn in the church. Sorry, I'm working. I'm not angry. I just saw it and it bothered me. I'm like, the people that say these kind of things, like, I just think they miss it a little bit. Like, what we're here for is to tell people, about Jesus, to make disciples, to encourage people to show love, to love one another, right? To love our neighbor. I was just reading in Luke 10 the other day, the story of the Good Samaritan, and the man, he asked, who's our neighbor? And Jesus tells him the parable about the Samaritan helping. And it was the last person they would have expected to help, right? And then Jesus gets down to the very end. The last thing he says is, go and do likewise, right? It wasn't a list of things like change the way you look, change the way you do this, change this, only wear a hat here, only do this here. Don't tell people their blessings around the corner. Don't encourage people. Jesus didn't say that. He said go, meaning get started, right? It wasn't like go later. Jesus just said go, get started, do it, go. He said go and do likewise. And if you notice in the story, all the man did, right, was he stopped and he checked on his neighbor. He saw that he was hurt. Didn't matter if he looked like him, didn't matter how he was dressed, didn't matter any of that. He checked on his neighbor. He took him and took care of him. He used his own resources, his own money, to pay for this man to be taken care of. And then he came back and said, whatever you have to do while I'm gone, I'll pay you back. And he did everything he could to make sure this man was okay. The one that he thought would never have done it, the Samaritan. But he said, and then Jesus said, go and do likewise. Like, if you simplify it all down, the Bible, right? What Jesus wants us to do, what the whole point of the parable is, Jesus said there's people out there that are hurting and dying, that need our help. Just go and do likewise. Like, go and help somebody. Go and love somebody. Go and be effective in my name. Don't misrepresent. Like, I tell my youth sometimes that the way they act when they're outside of church is a representation of our church and of me. And I say, don't be going out there acting dumb and crazy and making me look bad, right? Because people know that you're part of this youth ministry. And if you're going to go out there and make stupid choices, that's representing me as your pastor. And it's the same thing, like the choices we make, and as we say we're Christians and we go out and we do this stuff, is a representation of who we are, is a representation of who Jesus is. So when people, because Jesus isn't here walking physically on the earth right now, when people hear or hear about Jesus, it's based off our actions, how we act. So their representation of Jesus is based off of us as a whole. So unfortunately, everybody who calls themselves Christians represent Jesus. And so if you call yourself a Christian, all you do is get online and argue, or you get online and you want to argue about stuff like what clothes you wear, or hat, or what you do inside of the building. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's how you're choosing to represent Jesus. And so Jesus was here on earth, and all he wanted to do was go and do likewise. If you look what Jesus, I'm trying to hurry my battery. If you look at Jesus' time here on earth, he spent it with people, right? And every time he almost seemed frustrated, not frustrated, but aggravated or irritated when people, when the lawmakers and Pharisees would ask him these questions. Like, even this story of the Good Samaritan was a lawyer, it says. In the ESV version, was a lawyer that was trying to justify himself and get an answer out of Jesus. Like, even when Jesus talked to them people, he handled it with such grace and mercy, and he kind of told them what they needed to hear, and it wasn't always what they wanted to hear, and that's why a lot of they would get mad. But how Jesus responded and acted with people, it wasn't ever like, he corrected people's behavior. But you didn't see him do it in a way where people didn't want anything to do with him, other than the people that were already against him. But it was such a, and if you watch The Chosen, the TV show, you start to see like the personality of how they portray Jesus. And it's not just Jesus in the Bible, but it's his personality, this fun, loving guy that you'd want to be around. Are we being fun, loving people? And I think that's what Jesus was. And I think that's what we're supposed to be, is to go and do likewise. Be fun, loving people. Be somebody that other people want to be around. If you're going to just bash me about what I wear, if you're going to bash me about the stuff I share, I don't want to be around you. Nobody wants to be around someone that's just trying to bash them on everything. Look, I get it. You have your thoughts. You have your ideas of how things should be, or even your idea. But a lot of that, honestly, is the way I would bet that you were grown up into and raised, and that's just how it is, and that's fine. Like, you've been that way your whole life, but don't, just because other people have different thoughts or on something, or different opinion, you don't have to force yours on them just to prove right, because all that's doing is making the body of Christ look weak, judgmental, and argumentative. And that's the last thing we need to be in this world, because a lot of people are hurting, and a lot of people are sad. And my battery's about to die, so I'm gonna get out of here. Make sure you check us out on I'm so confused. Check me out on Instagram, kcj.hall. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Sorry for the episode. My wife's gonna kill me because I thought about this stuff and I seemed mean. I promise I'm not mean. I just want to make sure that us as the church are representing Jesus well. Follow us on Instagram. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Oh, real quick before my thing dies. Next week we have my friend TJ coming on. It's gonna be so good. It's booked. It's ready to go. We'll see you then. Love you guys.